before with people who we got some good news in the horror world. Freddy's back. So we finally, after damn near almost 20 years, I think it's been 16 years, about the same time, if I'm not mistaken, as Friday the 13th. And we need a Friday the 13th movie too. We're getting a TV show, which is going to be our next segment coming up. But um Freddy's back. And I don't know who they're going to get to play Freddy Krueger because, yes, as much as we love Robert Englund, he is a lot older. It is past his prime. He cannot come back and reprise his role. But yeah, according to reports, Paramount has secured the rights to make a new A Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So it's been about 16 years. Now, Paramount Pictures has closed a deal for the U.S. rights to the original screenplay of A Nightmare on Elm Street, the movie written and directed by Wes Craven that kicked off the popular horror franchise featuring the killer with the metal claw gloved hand and burned face, and will adapt it into a new feature. The new Nightmare on Elm Street will hail from Paramount's new genre label, Paramount Primal, led by J.D. Lipschitz and Raphael Margulies, the producers behind films such as Barbarian and Friendship. The U.S. rights are being licensed from the Craven estate, which includes Craven's widow, Aya LaBunca, and Craven's son, Jonathan Craven. The duo will produce a new iteration with Mark Toberoff, the attorney turned producer who specializes in copyright law. Lipschitz and Margulies will executive produce for Paramount's Primal. Paramount Primal, sorry. They said, we look forward to bringing the world of Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street to a new and completely engaged generation of fans. We know that Wes would have been thrilled to see how horror is taking its long overdue place in the cultural canon. We can't wait for all of us to sit together in a dark theater around the campfire of today as the next chapter of a nightmare story unfolds. Now, Lipschitz and Margulies stated, they said, we can't remember a time before we were fans of Wes Craven. The fact that Aya and Jonathan have entrusted us with this opportunity to help usher a new story into this world is an honor beyond words. We look forward to working alongside them to bring a terrifying new nightmare to audiences everywhere and to welcome Freddy home. So, New Line Cinema, and see, now this is where I was like, wait, how was y'all able to secure this? Is it because Paramount is trying to acquire Warner Brothers? And so they said New Line Cinema, and later corporate owner Warner Brothers, previously held all the rights to A Nightmare on Elm Street as the company made the original movie in 1984. The movie launched a cash cow franchise for what has been was then an independent film company, earning New Line the nickname "The House That Freddie Built." Because yeah, I remember when New Line first started, it was like they didn't really have anything on there. If you ever watch, like, there's this horror series that, damn, I can't remember the name of it. Wait, hold on, let me go to my Shutter, because there's a show on there that I'll be watching. It's like a series of them where they basically give behind the scenes of like horror movies that came out in the 80s and things of that nature. Speaking of which, it's In Search of Darkness. I don't know if y'all ever seen those, but they be going in and letting you know like the history of a lot of horror films, even like the ones that you could find on like the deepest parts of the video stores back in the day. But there is a docu-series, wasn't a documentary called Never Sleep Again, breaks down the whole thing about A Nightmare on Elm Street. And the history of it was like, yeah, when New Line was launched, they didn't really have anything going for them over there in regards of quality movies and this, that, and the other. And then this movie comes along and it builds, in 1984, and it pretty much catapulted New Line to, superstardom. And of course, New Line gave us so many other movies. Blade was produced by New Line Cinema and things like that. So, now, they said copyright law allows authors to reclaim rights 35 years after publication, which has been used by screenwriters and their estates to regain their works. The Craven estate regained the rights to the screenplay in 2019 with the help of Toberoff, who also regained the rights to another horror franchise, the original screenplay to Friday the 13th by Victor Miller. New Line retains the international rights to A Nightmare on Elm Street. The Nightmare on Elm Street movie centered on Krueger, a child killer who was burned alive by the kid's parents, who but years later returns via dreams, and now iconic look of a fedora, red and green sweater, as well as a burnt face and a razor glove to kill teenagers. Now, we don't have any idea in regards of what this new take will entail, but I do feel at this point, you guys need to start from scratch. I think if you're going to do this thing where you want to set it in the world of A Nightmare on Elm Street, base it on the original screenplay, but we don't need a new Nancy Thompson. I think you need to just come up with a new set of kids who could play this part. Y'all tried the thing with Nancy and her friends, and in the remake that y'all did with what was it? Rooney Mara, who I know a lot of people didn't even like her in the. I don't even think she liked being in the movie. Because I remember seeing some video or whatever online. I think Joe Blow did a whole breakdown of it, and it was like nobody wanted to see. She didn't even want to be in the film, but she did it, and the movie didn't do all that well. I did like Kyle Garner in the film, and I thought that Katie Cassidy was a much better girl that showed up being a lead. But y'all had her play the blonde girl in the original movie where she was getting thrown all around the room and she gets gutted by Freddie. She should have been your lead. Y'all could have had her be a blonde or whatever instead of having her to be the brunette. Rooney Mara, I thought, was terribly miscast. And I didn't like Jackie Earl Haley's version of Freddie. So I think if you're going to come in and do a Freddie, you need to kind of have somebody come in to embody this character that's not going to try to copy what Robert Englund did, because Robert Englund is a special kind of person in regards to doing that role. No one's ever going to be able to replicate what he's done, and I don't expect you to do that. Just bring your own twist to it. I also think if you're going to do this film, that you need to heavily focus, take more of a Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors approach. Create characters that fans are going to care about and build these really cool set pieces based on their fears, which you know that all plays out in the dreams, and Freddy thrives on that. So I think if y'all take more of an approach of, you could bring that scariness of the original film in this version, but also take a piece of A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, where it's like you had a bunch of characters that we all cared about, you know their strengths, you know their weaknesses, and y'all play around with that. So you have to build up these whole set pieces and scenarios around these dream sequences. And I think that's why I think a lot of people love A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 out of majority of the other Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I know some people probably be like, "Well, can y'all bring back Heather Langenkamp or maybe do like a requel or whatever?" No, I don't think we need to do like the requel, direct sequel situation from the original. We've seen this played to death. I do think y'all need to kind of come with a different approach. So yeah, start from scratch, bring new people in, um, focus on giving us characters we can care about and building scenarios and dream sequences around those characters. So, but if I'll have more information on this as it develops. But because right now we don't have anything, but I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story? Are you here for a Nightmare on Elm Street remake? I mean, everything is cyclical. Things are always going to they're going to dig into old IPs. I definitely think that there is something there in regards to Nightmare on Elm Street, that you should introduce this to a new audience because everybody dreams. So if y'all can come up with an interesting, really cool, scary spin on the franchise and not try to replicate what's already been done, then I'll be here to see it when it comes out in theaters. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.